Hello and welcome, Lynx here. We are playing of the end of an obsession. And let's find out if... I don't know if today we'll find out the answer to that. Or maybe tomorrow. Or the day after, but let's find out if there will be an end to an obsession. Once again, you feel groggy when you wake up. I mean, that's always me in the morning, yeah. The back of your head is still pulsating and your mouth feels dry. As void has been stuffed full of wool. Your stomach meanwhile is coiled up in knots. You feel sick. What time is it? You sit up in bed blearily, half asleep, wiping your eyes with the back of your arm when...
Oh, are you finally awake?
Oh? You glance up, your head snapping into position like a ball-jointed doll's. Then you take in the woman standing before you. Or is she a woman? It is hard to tell. Her appearance is oddly amorphous, seeming to shift even as you observe her between various ages, various states of being. Oh. In one moment she looks younger than you, fresh-faced and rosy-cheeked. A young maiden not yet in her 18th year. That's not good. But in another moment you could swear she is ancient, beyond mortal comprehension. Decades of experience painting her face so that the hollows of her eyes seem to sag. How old is this girl, woman? This apparition of no fixed appearance, with her pale skin and her pale pink hair. You do not know. You cannot get to the bottom of her. She's like a puzzle box, a mystery which demands solving. But you're tired and your head hurts, and you scarcely know who you are, let alone who this girl, this woman, is. You cannot think. It hurts to think. Oh no. But what if that's her goal, the witches? But that does stand to reason, does it not? The woman, did she not introduce herself yesterday as a witch? Said that you were a princess, and princesses are not supposed to think. If you try and employ too much brain power, you will accomplish naught, save ruining your good looks. It is better to not bother. You ask the witch what she is doing? An innocent inquiry tempered by sleep, which makes her laugh.
What does it look like, my dear? I'm waking you up.
Well, yeah, I can see that.
So I ask?
But what time is it? It seems awfully early.
It is not very early, really. It is a sensible hour, one that young maidens... Sorry. Fair princesses such as yourself should be up and about. I'm sure your servants awoke you far earlier than this, when you still lived in the palace, to help with your toilet. Did they not bath you, and brush your hair, and dress you?
Did they? You cannot rightly remember, but the witch is waiting for an answer, and you don't want to disappoint her. If you really are a princess, surely you must have had servants. You nod. What else are you to do? And the witch smiles.
I knew it. You should have been awake hours ago. But I am an uncommonly kind witch, and I won't scold you for being slatternly. I used to be scolded myself when I was younger for... all sorts of misdemeanors, but most of them were made up. I don't want to do unto you as others did to me, not when you are a very precious guest.
Your face colors a bit at the compliment, for you cannot help but wonder who would be foolish enough to scold a witch.
Well, I wasn't always a witch, you know.
We've been through this. Was she not? I guess our princess, in a way, got her memory completely wiped out, huh? Interesting.
No, people aren't born as witches, dear one. They become them after being subjected to enough hurt during their lives that they wish to shed their former selves so that they might attain power of their own. Witches are humans who have been wronged, who wish to inflict some part of their suffering upon others in turn. Not that I mean to hurt you, of course. That would be a waste when you have such a pretty face, and such a lovely long hair too. No!
The witch beams, looking positively perky as she retrieves a gildbug brush from your bedside table.
Would you let me brush your hair for you, dear one?
Your hair?
Yes, your hair. It is fully tangled, and you have rather a lot of it to look after. You must have been tossing and turning in your sleep, because you've noted it. And hope you know how to brush your own hair. What if your fancy upbringing, so may I?
You eye the witch hesitantly, some of your former unease returning to you. Why, you ask the witch, does she care about your appearance so much? Why does it matter when you are trapped in this tower?
It matters because you're a princess, dear one. A princess is still a princess, whether she's in a palace surrounded by her courtiers or trapped in a tower with a wicked witch. In fact, one might argue that a princess is even more of a princess when she's being held hostage by a witch.
And how does that work?
It's how all of those stories work. Princesses and witches are just two sides of the same coin. The good and the bad. The maiden and the hag. Not that I think I look particularly hag-like.
Yeah, you don't. That's true.
As far as witches go, I think I'm a bit of an anomaly. But you're an anomaly too when it comes to princesses. Your hair is a rat's nest. I need to make you look presentable.
Damn. For whose sake?
For the sake of a satisfying story.
You don't understand what she means by story. This is real life, is it not?
Well, I wonder, what is real and what is not is often up to the beholder. You wouldn't wish to look disheveled should a handsome prince chance by your tower, would you? That would make an awful first impression.
Is it likely the prince would stop by here?
Not in the slightest. But hope does spring eternal. If daydreaming about being rescued keeps you going, then who am I to rob you of that opportunity?
Goodness, that is so generous of her.
I know, I'm a veritable saintess. Now come here, your hair isn't going to brush itself.
You can see that the witch is very insistent about this. For why? You cannot fathom, so you give in. It isn't as though you have many other options, being locked away in this tower as you are.
Excellent! Now just leave everything to me. I have experience, you know, when it comes to making princesses look pretty.
Oh, really? Is she in the habit of kidnapping princesses?
Wouldn't you like to know?
The witch giggles as she settles herself down upon your bed, then reaches for your hair. Your body tenses at this initial contact, as if fretful she might strike you, might slice you. But the witch, despite her title, does neither of those things. Instead, she begins to work as obedient as any drudge, running the comb through your locks over and over and over again, until they start to crackle. And then the days pass. On the third morning, you are ready and waiting for your visitor when she arrives. For perhaps appears would be a better word inside your tower. You have come to expect the witch's presence, so you are not surprised when she takes a seat at the side of your bed. You regard her uneasily, still attired in the nightgown, your hair rumpled after yet another night spent tossing and turning. You think that you had nightmares last night, for you cannot remember them, not clearly. Perhaps you were running in them. Is that why you awoke feeling so tense? Your heart beating a staccato rhythm inside your breast. Yes, that sounds about right. You were running, you can recall, albeit faintly, through a forest. But then the witch holds up a wicker basket from which a truly mouth-watering smell emanates, and your half-recalled dream dissipates before your very eyes. The witch giggles and, in a girlish manner, she says,
Hungry?
Briefly you think of denying her query. For you know you are being unreasonable, it feels almost like an accusation, as if she is mocking you for needing to consume food to live. For some reason, admitting to the witch that you possess such a base needs feels excruciating. You just as soon admit that you like rolling about in the dirt like a beast. That is how she makes you feel. You keep your mouth closed, your lips pressed together, but for your mouth might be silent, the rest of your body is not obedient. From your stomach, a low, earthly rumble emits, loud enough that there is no mistaking it. You wind your arms about your stomach, but it makes not a blind bit of difference. It continues to rumble regardless, low and deep, like an undersea disturbance. The witch notices it. Well, of course she does. How could she not? And she giggles.
Well, at least your body's honest, even if your mouth isn't.
Your face flushes bright red at this, of all the indignities, but the witch does not linger upon it. Perhaps she's trying to spare you. Instead, she reaches in her wicker basket, then holds a flaky pastry out towards you. You stare at the pastry, your gaze affixed to it as if it were a holy grail, a sacred relic. All of a sudden, you can think of nothing but food. You are ravenous, so much so it almost scares you. It is strange, for you cannot recall feeling hungry at all, not until the witch presented this pastry to you. It is almost as if your body forgot what it meant to be hungry until now. And I kinda wish those days, even after they're supposed to repeat, would play differently. You could have done without the hunger pangs, but now you have remembered what hunger is. You can feel it gnawing on your insides. You're not dripping at the mouth, at least, but you might as well be. You could reach out and take the pastry from the witch's long, bony fingers, then stuff it in your mouth. You could tear your teeth into it, then swallow it in 2 bites. The thought is tempting one, but it is not very princess-like. Starving for you might be, you must maintain your dignity. The witch watches as you hang back, abashed and toots.
Oh, stop being silly. If you don't get any food in your belly, you will starve. Not even princesses are immune from hunger. Now look here.
The witch breaks a piece of the pastry apart with her fingers. Then she proffers it to you.
Say ah.
What? Are you really doing this?
Think what?
This play act, you mean, like lovers, or else? Does she mean to treat you like a pet?
Hey, I'm not just treating you like a pet. You are my pet. I own you, and you belong to me. You're mine to toy with as I choose. But for the present, I would prefer to be nice to you, not nasty. Don't make me regret the decision.
The witch's eyes narrow. A foreboding shadow crosses her pretty face, for it lasts less than a moment before it dissipates.
Now, come on, stop this silliness, eat.
You still feel uneasy, but the witch's voice is firm and hard beneath the layers of sweetness and light, and you know better than to argue with her. You do not want to incur her wrath. You lean in. When as obedient as an enchanted lover, you part your lips for your captor. You spend your 4th day in the tower sitting by the window looking out over the forest which surrounds you. There really are a lot of trees. You think distractedly, your legs dangling over the cool lip of the seal. They spread outwards like a green blanket, or else like an ocean wave, rippling and undulating in the breeze. You cannot look directly at the ground for too long, it makes your head spin. Just how high are you? You ask this question to the witch who is brewing a pot of tea over a small stove. She glances at you, a small smile playing about her lips, and says,
High enough, dear one.
You ask her how high it is, and she chuckles.
Why does it matter? You won't be able to leave regardless. Not unless you can sprout wings and fly like a bird. Do you think yourself capable of such a feat?
Yes. The witch's eyes bore into you. They're sharper than knives, and they make you shudder. You glance away from her, back out of the window, over the treetops. There is a moment of silence. The breeze disturbs your hair, the hem of your dress. You exhale. A few moments pass, awkward moments, as the witch hums to herself, while you glance out over the trees. A question rises to your throat, one which feels too large for your slender body. You know you will not like the answer, but you still feel compelled to ask. Why, you ask the witch, did she trap you in this tower in the first place? What does she want from you?
Oh, you silly thing!
The witch steps aside from the stove, then kneels before you. She takes your hands between her long, bony fingers and gives them a squeeze. A shock of cold knives through you, and you shudder. With white, deer-like eyes, you observe the witch as softly as she says,
I don't want anything from you. I just want you.
You do not understand the distinction, and you tell her as much. What does she mean?
What I said. You don't need to do anything, dear one, or say anything. You don't need to be anything, other than yourself, of course. I didn't bring you here because I desire you to act in a certain way. I just wish to enjoy your company.
There is something a little flattering, you suppose, about that? Your heart flutters, color rising to your cheeks. But it still does not answer your questions. If she wanted to only enjoy your company, why did she have to keep you a prisoner? Because she's a witch? And otherwise it would not be possible? Could she not enjoy your company in another manner? One that's less inconvenient? I mean, considering again that she's a witch, that other matter would be inconvenient for her, I would assume.
Naturally, that is what I wished, but it isn't so easy, you know.
It isn't.
No, dear one, you're a princess, you see, and I'm a witch. We could not have been together if you had remained in the palace. You would have been wed to a boorish, loutish prince who wouldn't appreciate you, and I would be distraught.
True. Distraught? Does she really care for you that much?
I care for you a lot, dear one.
The witch speaks softly, her voice disarmingly gentle, as she cups your cheek, her fingers sliding into your hair. Her digits are still disturbingly bony, but you find you don't mind it as much as you thought you would. It no longer bothers you. There is something almost soothing about her touch.
That is why I had to kidnap you. If I want to put it selflessly, I suppose I could say I meant to rescue you from the tedious fate of being wed to some strange man and whisked away to foreign land, taken away, far away from me. But I'm a witch, so I'm selfish, and that's not really why I brought you here. I brought you here because I want to be with you. I couldn't bear to see another speak to you or touch you. I want to keep you all to myself. Which is why you can't leave. I knew from the moment I laid eyes on you that I wished you to be mine. and so I took you. That's all there is to it.
And if you ask, your voice shaky, you're to jump out the window. What then?
Then you would soon discover that you are not a witch or a bird, and you cannot fly. You'd hit the ground and you'd break all of your bones, and that would be that.
Then you would die.
Most likely, which is why I would not advise it. Of course, you're always welcome to try. But you'd be much worse off for it, don't you think?
You suppose being crushed into a bloody meaty pulp on the ground would be significantly worse than submitting to the indignity of speaking to the witch every once in a while.
I knew you'd say that. You're a clever girl. It must be your fancy education. You princesses are all so very smart.
You bask in a compliment for a few moments, but something in the witch's words make you frown. What does she mean, princesses? Why the plural? Are you not the first princess she has captured?
Ah, well, you know how it is. We witches are very long-lived. We have 9 lives, just like cats. Princesses, meanwhile, only have 1. It would be awfully lonely if I had to pledge myself to 1 princess, and 1 alone, when I have endured for so many years. You understand that, right, don't you?
Then are you not the only princess she has kidnapped?
Of course not. So long as princesses exist, witches like myself exist to lead them astray. But worry not. In this moment you are the only princess I care for, and I will take good care of you. I can promise you that. Oh, dear me, where has the time gone?
The witch addresses you thus during your 5th day spent in captivity, after she has started toying with your hair. She stayed to your side rather longer during the visit than she has those in the past, and now the sun is beginning to set. The witch observes you, her long lashed eyes narrowed, and then says,
Ah, it's unfortunate, but I fear I cannot spend too much more time by your side, and you'd be off, even I had work to do.
That's funny. You thought that as a witch it was her role to kidnap fair maidens. Is that not her primary line of work?
Oh, I wish. It would be nice if there was any money to be made in kidnapping maidens. And who knows, perhaps there is. If I put a ransom on you, I'm sure the king and the queen would acquiesce to my requests. I could make quite a tidy profit from capturing princesses. But they say you should never mix work and pleasure. While it would be nice to make a profit from my passion, I wouldn't wish to tire of my favorite pastime. That would be a true tragedy.
So she regards kidnapping young women as a pastime.
Well, what else would it be? It's just a bit of fun.
For her, maybe it is, but for you?
Oh, I'm sure you'll get used to it soon enough. I've not been too unforgivably wicked to you, have I?
You think briefly upon the kisses that the witch has plied you with during the last few days, her mouth pressed firmly against your own. You can recall the taste of her saliva upon your tongue. It was salty floral, wasn't it? Everything about the witch is salty floral. For you think. She might be compensating for something. When she kissed you, you thought you could taste the earth and the dirt, silty soil and riffing worms. I was about to say arms. A moment passes, you blink, then quietly you say no. She hasn't been too wicked to you. She has, by all accounts, been treating you quite gently. Surprisingly so for a witch.
Well, there you go then. You have enough food to eat, and clothes to wear, and books to read. What more could a girl want for?
Oh, you don't know. Your freedom, maybe? Oh, we've been to the dialogue as well.
Freedom is overrated. How much of it did you have when you were a princess?
That is a good question. You cannot remember.
That's what I thought.
The witch smiles smugly, then she leans in. She takes your face between her palms, cupping it, then says,
Now, look, there are many people out there who seek the aid of witches such as myself. There are many sad lonely little girls out there with no friends and family, and nobody who will listen to them. Granting their wishes is my job, for I fear I've been ignoring their plaintive cries in favor of spending time with you. My clients will probably get angry if I keep shirking my duties.
now that is peculiar. You're surprised that so many people would willingly seek the services of a witch. Do they not have a bad reputation in these lands?
Indeed we do. A bad reputation is better than having no reputation, for some people are desperate enough that they are even willing to turn to the devil for help. I thought that you would know that already, dear one.
Oh, she might have done that. Your brow furrows, your expression flat and dull, uncomprehending. Did you once turn to a witch? This witch? For help in the past? If you led a life as sheltered as the witch is claiming, it doesn't seem beyond the realms of possibility. But this, like so many other things about your past, will have to remain a mystery.
In any case, I think I'll be busy for a few days. I won't be able to pay you as many regular visits as I've been, but don't fret, I'll try to hurry with my obligations as quickly as I can, so I can be once again like fate ordained.
Fate?
Yeah, indeed. A princess is nothing without a witch to keep guard over her. Without me, I fear her existence would lose all meaning. But I would lose meaning without you too. We need one another, just like roses need to the earth in which they sprout, so of course I will return to you. I cannot help myself. We are drawn together, you and I, but if you wish for further assurance, I don't mind making one oath. Now look here.
The witch relinquishes her grip upon you and takes a step back. For a few moments you allow yourself to feel a flicker of relief, soothed by the distance which has now been put between yourself and the witch. But then you see a flash of silver in the witch's right hand and your relief soon withers. What is she holding?
This is a knife, my dear one. Just a simple paring knife. Really, I mostly use it for peeling fruits. But it should serve my purpose well enough. Behold.
The witch lifts her right hand, holding it upward so it is level with your curious eyes. She extends her long, bony fingers, flexing them, so they seem to expand like an unfurling petals of flower. With her other hand, she holds the end of the knife steady. Unblinkingly, she introduces the blade of the knife to her palm. Then she presses. Blood begins to bloom on her white flesh in moments, her skin cleaving beneath the tip of the knife. You watch, entranced, as gobbets of bright red blood splash against the silver blade, soothing it. The witch cuts herself without any hesitation, without any emotion, as a gardener might snip through the stem of a flower with a pair of shears. Does she not feel any pain? It does not look like it. Her expression is quite impressive, unwavering even. You have wondered before, but you are quite certain now. She truly is not human. She has transcended such a petty notions to become something otherworldly, something extraordinary.
Now let me do the same to you.
Does she mean too?
But of course, a pact has no meaning if only one person is making it. Just as promises have no purpose if only one person is willing to keep them. I'm already offering myself unto you, dear one. So you need to offer yourself up to me too. That way we'll always be bound together. Not through words, which are flimsy, but through something much more immutable. Both paupers and princesses are capable of telling lies, but blood is always honest.
The witch speaks in a curious sing-song which does not match how cold and inhuman her eyes are. She brings down her knife, smeared copper brown with her own coagulating blood against your palm. She presses the blade to your skin, which is soft and unyielding, unmarked by any calluses. Yours are hands which have never known hard work. Yours are hands which have never known a hurt. There.
There, just stay still, alright? That's a good girl. You're doing so well.
But that was before you met the witch. Once more, you find yourself sitting by the tower window, looking out over the forest. The witch was right, you think gloomily, as you scan the tops of the trees. This tower really is deep in the woods. For you strain your eyes, there is nothing but green, green and more green. The trees are nigh on endless. You have pondered the pros and cons of jumping from the window before, so that you might run to safety, but you already know that this is a fool's errand. Your room in this stone tower is too high up. For one thing, for you to jump. If you were to attempt it, you would shatter both your legs or worse. You are unsure whether you can survive the fall, no matter how verdant the grass is at the base of your tower. And even if you did survive, you don't know where to run. You do not know where the nearest city is. For all you know, it could be miles and miles away. Nobody will be coming to save you, and you cannot save yourself. Princesses shouldn't be too proactive, but this isn't how stories like these are meant to go. Like a good little girl, you sit by your window, looking out over the forest which stretches on endlessly, and you think. You daydream, and you dither, but in the end you do absolutely nothing. Once again, the witch doesn't come to see you. It's been 2 days since you last saw her. Only 2 days, but the time has begun to drag. If she went through all of the effort to kidnap you, then shouldn't she make an effort to spend a bit more time with you? You'll have to give her a piece of your mind the next time you see her. It really isn't proper, leaving a lady such as herself alone for so long. But has it really been that long? It has only been 2 days. That is not so very much. Why then do you feel so uneasy? You have a vague feeling that in your past life you can remember, you did more than sitting about or lying about waiting. But what else do princesses do other than wait? They wait in their palaces for balls, and they wait at these balls to be asked to dance, and then they wait for handsome princes to propose and whisk them away to other bigger castles. You should be used to all of this inertia, this yawning, empty nothingness, but it still gnaws at you. It consumes you, eating you away from the inside out. But you're a good girl, at the end of the day, and know better than to overstep the boundaries of the role the witch provided you. You are a princess, and princesses ought not to try and escape. All you can do, instead, is remain in your room and let the world pass you by. Huh.
Oh, dear one, it's really good to see you again. I missed you.
This is what the witch says when she appears in your tower one sunny morning, after smoothing down the satiny fabric of her petal-shaped gown and adjusting her hair. You jump upon hearing the witch's honeyed words and drop the book you were perusing from your awkward fumbling fingers. Wide-eyed, you glance towards the window where your unexpected, for perhaps anticipated guest is standing. You hope it does not show in your face. You do not want to be too woefully obvious, but part feels relieved to see the witch again. You still do not care for her. Of course, she's your captor, but her company is better than no company. For you have always had a fondness for reading. Books can only alleviate so much of your loneliness. Yes, you think that is the right word for it. Your tower is lonely. You have been trying not to admit it, not even to yourself, because that feels like a confession of weakness, but the quiet has been gnawing on you. For the witch is no ally of yours, it is quite the opposite. In fact, it is nice to have another human to interact with. Not, you suppose, that she's a human, not in the traditional sense of the word. She's still a witch. You cannot trust her, and yet...
How have you been getting along, dear one?
The witch asks. You. Her voice possibly skipping as she approaches you.
I hope you've not been too bored without me.
Your cheeks prickle as you dip your head. Quietly you mumble something in response. That it has not been too bad really. You've been reading the books, are...
Amusing diversions, yes. I know that full well. I used to read a lot myself when I was younger, and more awkward than I am now. In my youth, all my friends could be found inside of books. I'm glad that we have so much in common. You'll have to tell me all about the stories you've been reading later. But for now...
The witch looks you up and down. She takes in your disheveled state. You have not been awake long, for the sun is high in the sky and toots. Your hair is full of more knots and tangles than a bramble bush, and the color of your off-white nightgown is slipping down one of your shoulders. You must make quite the sight, a supposition that the witch affirms with a click of her tongue.
Dear, you have not been looking after yourself at all. I know being shut up in this tower must be tedious, but you're still a princess. You can't afford to be so careless with your appearance. You really would be helpless without me.
The witch retrieves the brush from your bedside table and then approaches you.
Let's get you looking pretty, shall we?
The mattress depresses beneath the witch's thighs and you sigh. Ha! You know there's little point in trying to pull away from her. Even if you did, where would you go? The witch is all that you have. Without her you are nothing. Your own worthlessness has already been imbued deep within your bones. You do not want to admit it, but even you cannot deny the wave of relief which comes when you finally submit to her. The witch stays with you in your tower for a few days, just as she did when you were first incarcerated. She tells you stories about her travels and about the sad girls whose wishes she also kindly grants. She also tells you fairy tales, some of which you remember for vaguely from your childhood. She toys with your hair, weaving flowers through it, and she brews you cups of tea to keep you warm. She dresses you up in various outfits and she paints your face as if you were a doll. Then, when the night falls, she takes you to bed, embracing you, your bodies sloughing together, as if it were meant to be. For her touch unnerved you in the beginning, you begin to find a strange sort of comfort in her proximity. Who else do you have, after all, to spend the time with? Who else will look at you like the witch does, with enchanted eyes, as if everything you have to say, not that she gives you ample opportunity to speak, is utterly enrapturing. You have never met anybody like her before. At least you do not think you have. Your past is hazy, your memory is vague and cloudy like the surface of an old mirror, and you cannot remember. Still you think that the witch must be special. She makes you feel special, and that is reason enough to hold her in high esteem. And when she leaves you, you cannot help but fear her loss. The tower feels uncomfortably empty in her absence, like a newly missing tooth, an empty cavity which ages. You sit up in bed early in the morning after her departure and toy with your hair. You run your fingers through it, just as the witch did, but you are hopelessly clumsy and your fingers falter. You try to braid your hair, but you cannot manage it without it coming untied. Part of you wonders whether it's not some great failing given you are a princess. Are princesses not supposed to take great pride in their looks? Primping and preening? You must be a poor sort of princess. But despite that, the witch still cared enough to try and kidnap you. That must mean that you are worth something. If not to your parents, they really love you, if they haven't bothered to look for you, then to the witch. At least you have her, and that is enough for the present to soothe you, no matter how hollow your heart might feel. The days pass by slowly as you wait for the witch's return. Not you try to tell yourself that you really care about her. She might have braided your hair oh so gently, treading flowers through it, and she might have fed you sugary, sweet treats with her fingers. But still, she tore you away from everything you once knew and loved. She has ruined your life. You know that you should despise her. But when the witch finally returns, you set your book down a little quickly and look at her a little too expectantly. The witch seems to notice this. She notices everything with those eagle eyes of hers, because she giggles and says,
Oh my, somebody's eager. Did you miss me that much, dear one?
Your face flashes at this, like a red-capped mushroom, and inwardly you wince. You wish you weren't so transparent. You look at your feet. You cannot look at the witch, your captor, and mumble something that is only faintly intelligible. Your response is hardly elegant, but the witch catches the general gist because she chuckles.
Come now, don't be like that. I know that you like me really. Otherwise you wouldn't look so enthusiastic.
You tell the witch slowly, the voice of a truculent child, that you are not enthusiastic. She's reading too much into things.
If you say so, dear.
The witch smiles, then reaches into the wicker basket that dangles from the crook of her arm.
It seems like you're determined to be difficult today. For why I don't know. You're in a pretty face scowling at me like that. But maybe this will cheer you up.
The witch draws something from her basket and runs despite yourself. You observe her. You see that she's clutching a small stack of books. 3 of them, to be precise, bound in leather. She holds them to you like a peace offering, her smile soft.
Here, is this enough to satisfy you, dear one?
You thank the witch for the thoughtfulness, feeling ashamed by your early conduct, and she beams.
It is no trouble at all. I would not wish for you to be bored. Now let me look at you. How have you been faring in my absence? I see you've been eating well. That's good, but...
The witch examines you critically. As a sculptor might eye a piece of marble, conjuring with their mind's eye the hidden art piece waiting to burst forth from within it. Something about the way the witch looks at you makes you tremble. Her gaze really is discerning. It's as sharp as a razor, uncomfortably so. Why does the witch make you feel like this? You do not know, but...
Oh dear, your hair looks awfully naughty. I fear you have not been taking proper care of it.
You ask the witch once more, what matters, and she droots.
Of course it matters. If you stop paying attention to your appearance, my eyes might begin to wander. I'm a fickle woman after all.
She's hardly a woman, she's a witch.
Yes, exactly, we're notorious for being inconstant. For I suppose that is what happens when one lives as long as we do.
The witch chuckles, then retrieves the gilt-backed brush from your bedside table next to the pile of books.
Now, would you let me take care of you? Let's get you looking presentable.
You bristle at the witch's words. How impetuous she is, for you wonder whether your response mightn't be in part from anticipation. The thought of being taken care of is not wholly unpleasant, even if the one who means to take care of you is a witch. It has been almost since you were kidnapped, not that you know it. Time has lost all meaning to you, shut away within your tower, but it continues still. That is 30 days and soon to be 30 nights. More than 700 hours spent trapped within the stone walls of your new home. Yes, you suppose you began to regard this place as a home. It is where you now live, whether you like it or not. You have not yet found a way to escape. You don't know if such a way exists. The walls of your tower are thick and impermeable, and your room is too high up for you to jump out of the window. There are no stairs which lead downwards to the entrance at the base of the tower, if indeed there is an entrance at the base of the tower. For all you know, there is no way out. Is that not what the witch told you? She said she was the only one able to enter and exit at will. You, meanwhile, are quiet in her thrall, incapable of escaping. You have been in there for such a long time, you are beginning to wonder whether you even want to escape. Where would you go if you were able to leave? What would you do? You do not know. So you continue to stay there. There is nothing else for you to do. Damn. More days and nights passing by.
Do you feel like screaming, dear one?
I would ask you this question one day, when she is sitting with you up on the bed. Once more she is toying with your hair, her fingers sneaking through it like a teeth of a comb. Her fingers long and cold, as are her nails. They scrape against your neck, oddly inhuman, and you tremble for you try to suppress it. You do not want her to know that she unnerves you, or worse still, that she endures you. You ask the witch, who sounds uncommonly wary, whether something is bothering her, and she sighs in response.
Is it that apparent?
It is rather apparent, yes. It is not like the witch to speak of being tired. You thought this was an emotion which afflicted lesser people, not all-powerful beings such as herself.
Oh, you flatter me. I'm hardly all-powerful. I endured my fair share of hardships before I was able to become the woman I am today. I have suffered in my time. Oh yes, more than you might realize. But my recent suffering has been of the more manageable garden variety, I suppose.
You incline your head, taking care not to disturb the delicate braids. The witch is twining through your hair in interest. What manner of suffering could be described as garden variety?
It is silly, but
The witch clears her throat, then says,
I told you I grant wishes, yes?
You think she had mentioned it, yes?
Well, there is the thing. Putting yourself in a servile position to others only ever results in headaches. So many girls demand so very much of me. It fast becomes tiring, and they can be so ungrateful too. I've been doing my best to live up to everybody's expectations, but it wears upon me. I've rather begun to sicken of other people. They can go and rot for like a... But you're different. I know, no matter how much hardship I have to endure, you will not leave me. You will not abandon me. I won't let you.
That's sinister. I won't let you.
My, you really have become obedient, dear one.
The witch's voice is warm in your ear. Her breath goes against your skin as she sits behind you up in your bed. Once again, the witch is toying with your hair. She never seems to tire of it, and you no longer try to pull away from her. You do not want to. What would you be without her? At this point, you can hardly imagine. The witch, recognizing how dependent you become, giggles and says,
You really are a good girl. You're quite a handful in the beginning, but you've warmed up a good deal. It makes for quite a change. Now tell me, dear one, do you miss me when I'm not there?
You swallow. Your own saliva tastes musty on your tongue like an old dress which has not been worn in years, like a subterranean prison cell which sees no sunlight. For the witch is asking, it is a moot question, surely knows the answer. Yes, you miss her. When she's away, you miss her awfully.
How nice. I'm glad to hear it. It's wonderful that you can finally be honest with yourself, but I think you're still holding back.
Holding back?
Indeed. I think your feelings towards me, dear one, are even more intense than that. If you miss me, it makes me wonder. Do you also love me?
You stare at the witch with wide, anxious eyes, just like a deer's. This question has stirred something within your chest, half-remembered dreams perhaps, or passing fancies. Or maybe even memories. You can recall somebody asking you this question once, a long, long time ago, but you don't remember who it was. You don't remember how you responded to the query. You do remember the pain, however short and sharp. When there was nothing.
Well?
The witch asks, her rose-colored eyes are fixed upon you.
What do you have to say?
You don't know. You stand there, shaking your hands clasped at your heart, as you've defended from a vicious predator, a clever-eyed crow, perhaps, who likes to make meals out of knock-kneed princesses. What should you say? Oh, it's different now. So many options. Which one should I choose, I wonder? There is so much difference between those, right? Eeny, meeny, mo. Here. Okay. For you know the witch's question is a loaded one. You know full well what answer she wants. You cannot bring yourself to give it. You cannot tell the witch that you love her, even though your body is screaming at you to do so. Your every nerve ending on fire. You have vague memories of beholding this scene once before, of the witch standing before you, knife in hand, but even then you will not betray yourself. You will not let her get the better of you. She has taken so much of you already. Your freedom, your future, and so many hours. You will not let her have your heart too. But this is something you must guard jealously. For as princess, is your heart not your greatest asset? You must keep it safe, so that you might bequeath it to a handsome prince who might one day come by to rescue you.
Keep dreaming.
But the witch must know what you're thinking, because the smile which paints her lips is cruel, mocking even. She snorts and says,
Oh, you mean to reject me because you think the prince might rescue you? It is a pretty notion, my dear, but there is no prince to rescue you now. There is just you and me. You can accept my love or not, but if you don't, you will suffer the consequences. Haven't you learned your lesson already, you silly thing? You really are stubborn.
There is a flash of light, the witch retrieves seemingly from thin air. A knife, one with a short blade, but it is sharp enough. You know from past experience how very devastating the blade can be. You are sure now, as you back away from your captor, that this scene has played out once before, exactly as it is now. You are sure that the witch has descended upon you, knife in hand, but your feet refuse to move. They root you to the spot as if you are an old oak tree incapable of breaking away. This is simply your role to play in the story. Fair, pretty princesses always meet tragic ends like this when there are no princes about to rescue them. You played with fire, you poor little fool, and now you have become hopelessly burned. The witch plunges the knife into your breast for a second time, while you stand there unresisting. This time, she makes quicker work of you, and she pierces your heart in a single blow. Your body slumps to the ground, senseless, just like a doll's. And once again, the cycle repeats itself. And how it repeats itself, we'll find out tomorrow. That's right. We'll continue tomorrow, and we'll see where this is all going. For now, hope you enjoyed. Consider liking the video, subscribing, and of course have a wonderful day. Bye bye.